project. What a difference a day makes, eh? So it's by the time I finished up yesterday, it rained on the night, rained overnight quite a bit, and back here today. So I won't be going down Slippery Hill. This ground here is slick as. I just struggled to turn the car around, it was so slippery. So what I'm going to do is work on the retaining wall here, try and get some of that gravel put behind there, and see if I can get this retaining wall finished today. That'll be nice. We'll see how we go. But I really could do with getting the trailer freed up. At the moment it's full of gravel, which will be used as part of the drainage. But yeah, let's get into it and see how I get on today. Okay, so the plan here is to create a bit of a dam between the soil and the gravel. The gravel on this side, soil on that side. Just while I do all the backfill, I want to create a bit of a dam. So we'll have that board in here. I want to go crazy with the star pickets because I've got to pull them back out again later. The soil underneath here is still pretty soft, to be honest. Once you start hammering them star pickets in, the crust is hard, underneath is very squishy. But let's just get this up and running as quick as I can, because I'm sick to death of having this half finished. So we get the matting in here now, and then the aggie pipe. And I'll do this in sections. Fill the stones in, put the soil on that side, take the board out, and then move this along. Actually, I may have another board, so I may set this all up in one go. Now the rain's starting to come down. I think it's going to be one of those days today. Let's get the matting out, get the matting put in, get the aggie pipe, and then the first layers of gravel. Right, so let's get a couple of bucket loads of gravel, put that in here, hold this pipe in place. What I'll do later is I'll just I'll have excess matting, so I'll just cover this with excess matting a bit later on. Right, about 100 more bucket loads to go. Now obviously it would have been ideal to have brought the excavator here, but Slippery Hill is so wet today, there's no way I'd get it up there without ripping the road up, which I've spent a fair bit of time building, as you've seen. So we'll do this the hard way. So as you can see, a lot of repetition now, so I'll bring you back once I've got this stone up to this level all the way along, and I'm ready to start folding the cloth back over and backfilling. See you in a minute. Okay, we'll start the process now of just wrapping this. So I'm simply going to cover over back. And I'll put a couple of bucket loads just to hold this down, and then we'll be backfilling with soil later. And that'll be later once I get the excavator up here, because I am not digging all this slop. Not digging all this slop and putting it in here, it's just too hard. It's so heavy because it's so waterlogged. Okay, so that is all the matting, all the backfill of stones all complete. Like I say, once it's a bit dry and I can get the excavator up here, we'll backfill all of that area with soil. And see what this soil's like. Because that was solid when I first started walking on it this morning, and after about 20 trips it's just liquefying, and that's the stuff is practically impossible to lift up with a shovel. What I am going to try and do is just backfill this section a little bit, get this pipe sort of pinned in place, and I'm only going to use soil on this. I know there's a risk of these getting filled up, but yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I don't think there'll be much water actually running down here on top. It'll all be running there through the pipe, so I'm going to go do that now. Well, I started digging, putting a bit of soil behind, and believe it or not, I found it wasn't too difficult. Just going to take this off in thin slices. You can see what it's like, it's just sloppy clay. I think this is going to allow this whole area to dry out a little bit better in the future as well if we get this done today. Plus, I can backfill in a few spots and then take the boards out. It pretty much stinks down here. Stagnant water. Soil gone bad. You know the smell. Great, let's show you what we've done. So we'll backfill this bit, so just stomp that down, just get in and give a bit of a walk on that and flatten it out. And then started to backfill on this board, so we'll get in there. Started to backfill on this board, so I'll get in there now, stomp it down a bit, and then take that first board out, do a bit more backfill, and then we'll see how we go. I just need a bit more soil around here, otherwise that bag's just going to flop. Messed up there, and pull the board out without getting the start button pressed properly. Anyway, as you can see, I pulled the board out, stomped the soil down to try and pack the matting in a bit better. So all I'll do now is I'll just carry on with a bit of a backfill into that sloppy area, and that should do it. I think I'm going to run out of soil to try and backfill this area where my feet are and all the way up there. I need the excavator to gather a bit of dirt from around a few different spots. because at the moment all that dirt's been sort of distributed around the landing area here of the turning circle. Right, so let's get some more soil thrown in here. Okay, as you can see, there's a lot of soil now that I've backfilled. A lot of dirt's been thrown in there. It's just started to rain, so I'm going to give this a quick stomp down, and then I might have to retire for a few hours while this rain passes. Let's see how we go. A bit of a rethink there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually have this filled up with gravel to the top. So I'll put the board back on here, and basically from that point that way will be soil, from this point that way will be gravel, and all this will backfill with gravel as well. Because where the camera is now is where the most of the flooding occurs, so I'll make sure that's got more gravel, more open areas for drainage than the rest of it. Right, let's get out of this rain. That's what I'm talking about. So just backfill in a bit more gravel over the top of the mat in there, just like the second layer, as you can see on that side. I'll backfill this bit as well, and then backfill in with soil onto the back of this, and then we'll remove the boards. So I just got back from the shops. It started to rain earlier, so I stopped, as you'll have seen. Went out to the shops, got some more class 4 in the trailer. Just levelled out this area as good as I need to, and then I'll go put in the class 4. As you can see, I've started in that corner. We'll put the class 4 in here and give a nice good slope from the back down to the front, and then on top of that we'll get, you can call it visqueen, like a plastic sheet, so any water that runs in will run off nicely. Any water that's coming from the underside won't actually come through, because I'll have this as one of my wood storage bays. What I'm going to do, go get a few more pavers from the top of the hill, bring them back down, and we'll put a few pavers down. That'll hold the plastic down, and it'll allow me to sort of see how this is going to play out. Right, back in a minute. So obviously for a wood store I wouldn't normally go out and buy pavers, do this, what I'm doing at the moment. I got these free, so well, I got them offered, so I may as well use them, put them to good use. So we'll get cracked into this now and see how many I can get laid. Be rough, but it'll work. If you get stuff for free that's going to be better than putting pallets down, you take it and use it. That's my view. Right, I think what I'll do is I'll unload this trailer with all the rest of them. There's a lot more than I actually need for this. Once I get down the bottom of Slippery Hill and I start putting in a little garden table that I've been working on using full-size logs. We'll use some of these for a base underneath that, try and keep the logs up out of the dirt. So we'll see how we get on with those. But for now, I'll take all of these out of the trailer and stack them somewhere out of the way, so I can get this trailer back up the hill and clear this area. Okay, so I've got the trailer emptied. Got all the pavers that I'm going to need next time, all down here. All the rest of them are put over near the wood store. So what I'll do now is I'll have a quick look around, but I think I'm going to be calling it a day. Moving all those pavers and digging all that into wet soil, so it takes it out here. So I'll have a quick look around and then we might be wrapping this up. Let's see how we go. Okay, so I think we're going to call it a day for today. You can see behind me it's all tidied up as good as it's going to be. I'll be back next weekend. So I am back with half a cube of class 4 gravel, so it's a gravel and fines mix. So it packs down really well, compacts really well. So that is going in here. Now that in the middle where it's wet, it's not just wet, it's extremely sloppy. So I'll put some boards over the top of that as I start packing and walking around it. But right, let's get the time lapse going, and let's get all of that put in here. Okay, so that's all filled in now with class 4. As you can see, it's just started raining, so I'm going to go take shelter. Hopefully this will stop in 5 minutes, and then we'll get back out here and lay the plastic over the top. Once the plastic's in, I can start putting pavers down. So fingers crossed this rain stops soon. call this done. It is rough and ready, or done for today is what I should say. Need to bring the angle grinder, cut a few stones for here. They're too big not to, the gap's too big there not to put some partial stones in, or part cut stones. But it is rough, but like I say, it'll work. Doesn't need to be perfect, this. This was as sloppy as the other side when I first did it. Now it's firmed up quite nicely. And the water runs off quite well. So yeah, I think we'll have a bit of success with this. Right, let's see if I've got the angle grinder. If I have, we'll cut some stone. Okay, so the end of a busy day. What I managed to get done today, all the big pallets that were down here that were all rotten and pulled out, so they all got cut up, and the wood that I can use for kindling got put in the kindling pile over there. The rest of it's all just sat here and it'll get taken up and used in the barrel stove in the shed when I need it. So we got the rest of the pavers put in, my little higgledy-piggledy paving job, but they were free and I may as well use them. And obviously we got the front piece put on. What I did this time is lifted all this off the floor, so there's a big gap underneath. Idea being, if there is any water that, well, sorry, if there is any, the water that comes on there will actually run out, because on the other storage bay there, you can see I've had to dig a couple of holes underneath the wood there just to allow the water to flow through. So we're lifting this one up and out the way. I think when I come back next time, bring the chainsaw, I'll cut that post down, and I'll cut that post down, and we will bring the big log over, put that back in place again, and we'll call this done. There'll be a huge amount of wood that can get stored in there. What I did previously was just use all that as loose firewood, just threw it in. Right, and I still have sort of half a cube of class 4 in the back of the trailer, which can get used another time. As you see, bit by bit I'm adding a bit of that class 4 to here just to sort of solidify it a little bit, but it really does need doing properly, but now is not the time. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please stick around because there's plenty more videos to come. Bit of finishing off here, and then I think I'll be getting into a bit of wood splitting coming up. Need to get all these wood stores filled, so stay tuned. A lot of wood splitting action on the way. Okay, see you soon. Thanks for watching wherever you are in the world.